following scenes are from moments in history with the New Alliance Party, America's only independent political party that is black-led, multiracial, and pro-gay 365 days a year. The New Alliance Party, founded in 1979 in the Bronx, New York, declared itself America's third party at its People's Convention on August 21st in Atlanta, Georgia. The New Alliance Party supports Dr. Lenora B. Fulani's Fair Elections and More Democracy campaign, wherein she's the independent, pro-gay candidate for President of the United States in 1988.
In 1969, New York exploded with the Stonewall Rebellion, a gay riot that swept Greenwich Village for 4 days and nights. Out of that rebellion grew an independent, radical organization called the Gay Liberation Front, which openly aligned itself with the Black Panther Party and called for the unity of all oppressed peoples in the struggle in the United States and across the world. Within months after its formation, the Democratic Party moved in and orchestrated a split, forming the Gay Activists Alliance, single issue, separatist, and white. Our history as an independent, radical, multiracial movement was destroyed along with the Black Panthers. Today, with over 20,000 of us, Black, Latino, and white, gay and straight, dead from a disease they call AIDS. Over 1/3 of people with AIDS in this country live in New York City, over 14,000 human beings. It's beginning to resemble a war zone. Thousands of our people are dying, not only from AIDS, but from the vicious forms of discrimination and violence which is perpetrated against people with AIDS and people perceived as having AIDS. This past March, the Lesbian and Gay Caucus of the New Alliance Party in New York City drafted an AIDS Bill of Rights. The bill, if enacted, would prohibit all forms of discrimination against people with AIDS-related complex, people perceived as having AIDS, and people who test positive to the HIV virus. It would also outlaw mandatory testing. Well, let me tell you, you're going to have to pardon my language, but when the white Democratic Party-controlled gay movement got their copy of the legislation with a cover letter asking for their endorsement, the shit hit the fan. Armed with the black-led, multiracial, pro-gay New Alliance Party, which is being built all across this country, led by Dr. Lenora Fulani, armed with endorsements from progressive lesbian and gay organizations across the country, and the support of almost every major artist, dancer, choreographer, gallery owner, and cultural leader in New York City, we aim to win this fight, not simply for the AIDS Bill of Rights, though certainly we need the bill, but something bigger. We want to fight to get back our radical history. And Dr. Fulani is teaching us precisely how to do that. With the Lesbian and Gay Caucus of the New Alliance Party, the largest lesbian and gay membership organization in New York City, with 25,000 signatures on petitions in support of the AIDS Bill of Rights, with our having raised over $10,000 to date through fundraisers and support from New York City's gay business community, we are ready for the 1988 campaign. Dr. Fulani, we support you, we follow you, and we are so very grateful to you for your leadership and guts, for teaching us the meaning and necessity of Black and gay unity, for showing us the road to gay liberation, not a separatist, white Democratic Party mirage, but as a real, concrete activity in unity with our sisters and brothers of color the world over. We have reclaimed our radical history. It is our job as lesbians and gay men to make sure that the tens of thousands of gay people who have been moved and affected by our AIDS Bill of Rights work know who it is that made it possible for us to be there. Fulani, a sister who's leading the struggle, pro-gay 365 days a year. Yeah. We proudly support your historic campaign for the presidency.
What we're trying to prove is that real democracy, people's democracy, can and must work. Frequently, I am told by people, progressive-minded people in some cases, that they wished I would cool it a little on just a few issues. Which issues? Well, being pro-gay for one. People ask me, why do you have to talk about gays so much? Don't you know gays are unpopular, weird, degenerate, diseased? I say no. Gay is a protest against the inhumanity of social roles in a society that also says, and you need to hear this, black folks aren't human, that we're niggers, and that gays are faggots, and that Jews are kites, and that Latinos are spics, and that Native Americans are Indians, and that Asians are slant-eyed. Folks come to me and say, Dr. Fulani, if only you'd cool out, you'd do all right. You're a smart sister, a beautiful sister. You have a PhD. You could be somebody. I will tell you here today, brothers and sisters, that the only somebody I am, and the only somebody I wish to be, is somebody who stands with and fights with everybody who is oppressed, everybody who is exploited, everybody who has been driven crazy by the viciousness of a system that thrives off of the degradation and exploitation of human beings. There are masses of people in this country, the majority of people in this country, whose beliefs, desires, and aspirations are not realized in public policy. There are millions upon millions of people in this country who want peace, but the two major parties are parties of war. There are millions of people who are deeply and passionately opposed to racism, sexism, homophobia, and anti-Semitism. But the fundamental orientation of the Democrats and Republicans rests on the perpetration of these hateful policies. There are millions of people who want jobs and services in our communities, but we have had no party to vote for, which stands for guaranteed decent jobs and a national health service until now, until we had America's third party, and it's in real good hands. Right on. I love it.
I'm new to NAP. About a year ago, at a West African restaurant right near where I live, a friend of mine pulled out this newspaper he had seen on the counter there and said, what do you make of this? It was the National Alliance, and in there were issues about blacks and gays and Hispanics and labor and women, all in one newspaper, and I thought, wow, is this for real? I need to know more about this. So I wanted to just mention briefly about why I'm excited about the campaign, specifically for some of the vision that I have of working on the campaign in Rhode Island. I do some work with the Rhode Island Lesbian Gay Pride Committee, and this year we had our biggest Pride March in 15 years. We had 300 people, right, which gives you some idea of 300 is a lot to us. If you come from New York or Boston or San Francisco, 300, what is that? That's not even one block length of their march. But one of the things that was really exciting about that march was we had a great lineup of speakers, and the most exciting speaker, and I was very honored and proud that she was there, was Mary Fridley from Boston. Yeah. The lesbian and gay community is very new to organizing itself in Rhode Island, and one of the things that's very noticeable is a lack of progressive perspective, a lack of, there are not very many people who are talking about trying to make links between gays and blacks, or trying to connect why it's difficult to be proud and what all the political issues are around being gay. And I'm real excited about using this campaign to help make that gay, lesbian community a more progressive and a more multi-issued community.
I came here with a contingent from the Midwest that traveled from Chicago. And on the way, I spoke to people about why they support Dr. Filani's campaign. And one of the women, a black working class black lesbian, said to me, as a black lesbian, I'm not part of the American dream. The New Alliance Party represents my dream.
Before I get into why I support Dr. Filani, I'd like to go into a little bit about my 2-month history with math. I was doing some leafleting, some gay bars in the black community when I was passing by the front door and I saw these newspapers. People with their fists up in the air and something like, ooh, where did that come from? Because I've never seen any, thing that profound in the gay bars, because nobody seems to come to the gay bars to put out that kind of information. They think we're all decadent. So I picked up the paper and I took it home and I started reading it. And I kept seeing this woman's picture with a hand like this. And I was saying, who is this sister and why is her hand like this? So I read the paper from cover to cover. I saw in that day, and I saw I saw practice, and I sent off for the interview with Farrakhan, and I had like all these piles of things after I read this paper, my subscription to the New Alliance paper. And so then I saw a phone number to call for a study group in LA, and I called, and I spoke to Jen Torres. And I just, everything was off in the mail, and I talked to people, and I got real excited about it. But before that, I was a conflicted, cynical, sorry Fred, cynical, radical black faggot who was slowly going insane. Okay. And had no context in which to deal with being a radical or progressive person of color who was gay. And so then Fernando Munoz called me on the telephone and said, I heard you called, and we got together and had dinner, and we've been together ever since. And in July, I met Dr. Filani. And it was funny because the brother Fundi and I, we went to the roundtable discussion at Compton College. And I was real excited about meeting. I wouldn't tell her that though. I was real excited. I kept seeing, I kept getting my alliances. I kept seeing her picture and stuff. So Fundi and I were walking on the campus. We got there at the same time. And we got there real early. So we walked on the campus and we walked around this bend, and sitting on the lawn was this sister sitting on the lawn on the grass with the sun shining on her. And I said to Fundi very calmly, "That's her, that's her." So I kind of got myself together, we walked up to her and said, "Hello, Dr. Blank." And we sat down on the grass, and I know we were soulmates. Another thing that happened was I was asked to be at the Black Empowerment Forum. I was real scared because I had never spoken in front of people before, in a straight crowd as a black gay man. And so Linda Curtis called me up and she said, "We want you to speak at this forum, would you do it?" And I said, "Well, wait, let me call you back. You just got to call me back tonight because I have to know your name on the leaflet." I said, "Oh, thanks a lot." So I called some brothers in our organization, and I said, "They want to speak on this forum, should I go?" I said, "Of course, go." I said, "We'll be there to support you." I said, "Fine." So I called Linda back and I said, "I'll do it." I said, "But I'm real scared." And so I thought I was going to get the line of, "Oh, come on, Ron, you know you can do it. And, we're really there for you." And she said, "So I'll tell you what Dr. Filani said. Move forward with your knees knocking."
I am honored to be here for all of you today, making history in America, as she celebrates her 200th anniversary of the U.S. Constitution. The U.S. Constitution, by, of, and for the Businessmen's Association. the Businessmen's Association, powerful and ugly. So it was in history, and as it is today, our gift to the constitutional celebration. It's one of a people's struggle to make it real compared to what? It's our torch, and our torch alone, that shines and lights the path to save democracy. We are the same struggle, and we carry the same torch that gave birth to the notion that democracy was not the private property of the Founding Fathers, their heirs, and their assassins. We gave to that celebration the blood of our mothers, the blood of our babies, the blood of our young men. We gave old men dying, broken, and diseased. We gave as Native Americans with our lives and our land. We gave as black slaves dying and building America. We gave Puerto Rico, Grenada, Haiti, Nicaragua. We gave the hearts and minds of Latino people. And into the dirty closet, we cowered against your brutality. And we wear the history of being burned in your ovens. We're lesbians and gays. We gave as Jews with our ashes, as poor white trash on our knees making crosses. The U.S. Constitution and 200 years of human struggle. Yet, we're here again, fighting and giving for democracy because, well, I think it's important for people to understand why we fight like we fight. So, just a little bit about why I fight. See, I was vomited up by the Businessmen's Association as part of their notorious profits before people system. And what that looks like is the hardcore, gut-wrenching pain of teenage motherhood and stolen babies being spirited into the night. It looks like a life of drug addiction in my youth, and it looks like an escape to madness. So, it looks like the struggle of one black woman who learned how to fight because she decided not to die.
All right.
So I was brought forward after a time by history and taking very slow steps. I lived on the lean streets and faced death in America at the hands of the Businessmen's Association. But genocide did not claim my soul in history, and today I am a fighter for freedom and a leader for the New Alliance Party. I have been sent by the people I represent to work on Campaign 88 and to take out 2 roads to bury one. And just to say a word about who I represent those 35,000 teenage mothers. I represent those disabled babies. I represent the junkies in Harlem and the junkies in Los Angeles. And I represent all the prisoners, millions of them locked down in American dungeons today. See, because I am one of them, I am them. And I represent old ladies and men that are stuffed off into Americans' nursing homes, that are being abused and brutalized in the name of the almighty dollar. You know, if you got a respirator, then that means you got the check, you know, and we can keep you plugged up forever. So I represent a lot of people that you know. And I represent a lot of people that are still victims of genocide. Their voices are not heard because they have not learned how to fight. They are not with us here today because they are not strong enough. But I am here, and I am strong enough, and I'll work for them, and I'll work for you, and I'll support Lenore Fulani in Campaign 88, and we'll make a difference in 1988. Thank you very much.
There's a new world coming, everything's gonna be turning around, everything's gonna be turning around. Where you gonna be standing when it comes? The nations of Asia and Africa have taken over their lives. Our sisters and brothers south of us have really gotten wise. So take a look, United States to the North American climb. With Fulani leading the way, we won't be exempt this time.